Why are we doing today's video? Honestly, I've realized I like trash books, and maybe I'll just happen to like your trash books as well. So hi, welcome to the channel. My name's Kat, and we're gonna do today a little challenge of reading 3 of the worst books that I've seen people talk about for 2024. So if you follow my channel, you will know that by now I've done several iterations every year of reading YouTubers' best books. I usually do 2 editions where I'm reading like 10 books in each one, and it is the like most recommended or books that sound most interesting to me, like on people's best of lists for the previous year. And I've done 2 iterations of it this year, which they should both be up by now. But one thing that I really wanted to do is kind of do a little opposite and see, you know, some of these best books didn't actually work for me. Maybe some of people's worst books will. So when I was watching people's worst of videos for the year, I made notes on some of the books that were either talked about most often or the ones that I think sounded the most interesting. And the ones that we have today, are 3 books that I genuinely think I could really enjoy, and 3 books that I think we have a decent chance of deeply having a great time. So basically, we're just going to be reading these 3 books over the next few days and seeing if they happen to work for me. So let's take a look at what 3 books we'll be reading. First off, Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is the sequel to Better Than the Movies. It's a YA romance, and in the first one, it was kind of a fake dating scenario between 2 people. They got together, they fell in love, and now we're following them several years later when they're in college, and their relationship is now changed and things are not working out quite as well as it was in the past. A lot of people are saying that they didn't think this sequel was necessary, and they really didn't like the changes in the characters, which, you know, they get older, things change. I did really enjoy the first one. It was one of the few like YA romances that I've enjoyed in quite a while, so I am excited to get into this one and see what I think. Next might be a little controversial a choice because I have seen people enjoy this, but on TikTok, I think especially, this is where this has been like completely ripped apart, and that is Lightlark by Alex Astor. The premise sounds interesting in this one, and I know she had a lot of hype on TikTok because she was really like talking about the tropes in this book, but when it happened to come out, didn't quite live up to what she was saying that it would be. And a lot of the people who have seen put it on their worst of list this year just say it was kind of bland, like it was just really not interesting. But I have seen it on some people's best of list too. But anyways, I want to know. So this one, it says, welcome to the centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves in their realms, one ruler must die. So could be okay, could maybe not be, who knows. I want to give it a try at least and see if I like it. And the final one we have is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. Really excited for this one because I don't know, like Ava Reid is one of those authors who I will say Juniper and Thorn by her, which is an adult horror novel that she wrote, is probably one of my like all-time favorite books. It was just so creepy and grotesque and just so horrifying in so many ways, and I deeply love it. But all of her YA books have not worked for me, and well, actually like none of her other books I've enjoyed quite to the same level, and I don't anticipate that I'm going to enjoy this one quite as much, but I do still really want to read it. And this is supposed to be a retelling of Lady Macbeth. I personally have never read Macbeth, and I've never really watched any adaptations or anything, so I don't actually know a crazy amount about the story, which apparently helps. I've heard some people say that not knowing a lot kind of helps your experience with it, but a lot of people are also saying it just like it was unnecessary and unimaginative. So I don't know how it's gonna go, but I am very excited for it, at least to see what I think. So these are the 3 books that we will be reading, and yes, I am very excited to see what I think. So let us actually just dive into this video. So first off, I switched the dust cover on this one, just basically turned it inside out, and I much prefer this. I'm really struggling, like, so this is an Owl Crate special edition, and I'm really struggling with their subscription lately because I'm not loving the editions, and I thought I would. Just based on other books I've had from them, and they're also one that like Like, I love their book selections for the adult box, but I haven't been loving their special editions. So I'm kind of considering canceling that one. But we have started Lady Macbeth. And I'll say, going into this, what I know of a Macbeth story, there's a Lord Macbeth, so he is a lady. I think she portrays him, and this takes place in Scotland because it's referred to as a Scottish play, and there's something about 3 witches. So, you know, I have a very, very robust knowledge, and I really don't know. I don't know if this is going to help me or hinder my enjoyment of really not enjoying, like, or really not understanding everything that's going on. I don't know if this is going to be one that it's better to have that prior knowledge. I don't know. I don't know. But where we are, we have the Lady Macbeth. She is a 17-year-old noblewoman. She is the daughter of a duke, and he has secured a marriage for her to form an alliance the typical way, and she is sent to be married to Lord Macbeth. Basically, she gets there, and it is like a very stark castle, very isolated, very like all warriors, just very much not her typical life. And she immediately is like not into this lifestyle, I guess. But while she's there, her husband brings her to these 3 witches who live underneath this castle, and they have a prophecy where basically he's going to become the lord of all of these different places. And when he brings her with him, he has told them that he will become the king of, I guess, of Scotland. And now they are kind of working together to make that happen. But the lady, she very much has her own goals that she's working on, and very much like doing things for her own agenda, I guess we could say. She is also somebody, so she keeps a veil over her face at all times, and it is because she is rumored to have this like magical power where she can enchant men by looking at them. And we really don't know at this point if this is true, or if this is just something that she's been told, or something her father's made up to like keep her safe. But it is very much rumored that if anybody looks her in the eyes, they will become like 100% enchanted by her and fall 100% to her mercy. So we don't know if that's true, but it is definitely established that there's magic in this world. So far it's okay. I will say I'm not necessarily really enjoying the writing, just in the sense that I think it could be written a bit more interesting, and it's feeling very, I don't know if you'll know what I mean, but like it's feeling very historical. Like it's feeling more of, this is a textbook, like a history story instead of like a book. I don't know if that makes any sense, but in my mind it does. But yeah, like I'm having an okay time with it. I'm just like not 100% invested, I guess. All right, so we have finished Lady Macbeth, and this, I don't know what to say. I understand why this was on people's worst stuff. Basically, that's what I'll say, is that it just didn't give anything. Like, it was just unfortunately so ridiculously bland, and I feel like it just really didn't do anything. And it's unfortunate. Like, I was kind of really going into this excited because I've loved some of Faye Reed's books that I've and just knowing that it's like touted as like a feminist retelling of the Macbeth story, it gets me excited. Like, it gives me like a lot of things that sounds like it potentially could be a great read, but then I don't know, it just didn't do anything. So that felt really disappointing. And yeah, I don't know, like I just feel like it did nothing. It wasn't interesting. I don't necessarily know the original Macbeth story, but I'm imagining it was pretty similar to this. Like, it just really did not go in any direction that I would say was interesting, and there was nothing about it that I would necessarily say was like exciting. I'm gonna give it a 3-star, I guess. It's more of a 2.5, but it'll be rounded up, just because like usually a 2-star is more for me if like I'm really bored and like it's not good. Like, I'll say the writing was good, it just, the story itself just didn't do anything interesting. So yeah, we'll say technically 3-star, but it just wasn't interesting, it wasn't exciting, and yeah, I'm disappointed. So that one's done. I understand why people were disappointed, especially if you're a fan, I guess, of the original story, and then coming into this one hoping for something interesting, it didn't really give it. So that one's done. And I have started on Nothing Like the Movies, which which you'll see I'm like 10% in probably. I'm how many 40 pages, and yeah, so like really not far enough yet to say anything about it. But we're following the original book, just like the movies, or better than the movies, was a YA romance. It was two couples, or two people who got together in high school, and it was like a fake dating situation. It was cute as hell. And this one is following them several years later, so they are now 20 years old and in college. I am interested to see if this will still feel super YA or not, but they are older. Things happened very quickly. You can tell that something happened when they were 18. It seems like the male main character, his father died, and he dropped out of university to go home and just help out with the family. Now it's 2 years later. He is re-enrolled in the same school he was at before, where his girlfriend, or former girlfriend, is, because it's been 2 years they've been broken up. And he is heading back to university because he wants to get his life in order, and he also wants to win her back because he realized that he really messed up, like, letting this relationship end. That's where we are. Again, like 10% in. There is nothing else to say. I'm feeling hopeful for it though. Like, I tend to enjoy Lynn Painter's books. They're fun. It's probably going to be nothing like super serious, but they tend to be fun, and you know, sometimes that's all we need. Hi, so as you can see, I am 70-ish% into Nothing Like the Movies, and I am absolutely finding this super cute. I like it. I do like Lynn Painter as a writer. I do enjoy this world, and it's cute. It's just cute, like seeing, this is one case where we're really following like the male main character as he's trying to win over the female main character. That is a like trope that I really enjoy, and it's really nice to see him just like so intensely trying to win her over. And I don't know, like it's interesting to see too like how much they've changed since the first book, which I will say I think I was confusing books because I was trying to remember in my head what happened in the first one, and I had to go back and read a synopsis, and I think I 100% was thinking of To All the Boys I Loved Before. I think that's the one that I had in my mind that this first one was. It wasn't quite that, but it was still, it was like super cute first one. And I'm just really enjoying this, really enjoying seeing just kind of like where they are as in their 20s and progressing and stuff, and like just them, how much they have grown up since last book, I guess. One thing I will say though, I do feel like this, so even though we're following characters in their 20s, this does still feel like very YA. And I mean, I guess I'm sure it's still classified as YA, and it's kind of one that is a little difficult, I guess, when you're following a teenage couple and then you can't really age the next book up like too much in terms of content. Like there are some difficult topics covered, there's things about grief, there's some things about adult life. It still feels very young in that ways. So I think it is one that's just like, it's really difficult for the author to address so many of these difficult topics without, you know, really aging the book up. But I am enjoying it. I think it's cute. I like the characters. I like the world. It's very sporty, which is fun. Yeah, I'm having a great time. Hi. So I did finish off Nothing Like the Movies, and I will say I enjoyed this, but it was not amazing, spectacular, everything, you know, like it, I think this is going to very much go back to the fact I really struggle to enjoy YA at this point. There are the occasional like YA SFF book that kind of does it for me, but if we're looking at a YA contemporary book, that is difficult. I'm like really not in that age range anymore, and this very much just kind of proved that to me, which like I did very much already know, but you know, it reinforces it. And this one, even though they are college students, they feel quite young in this. It does feel like they are, you know, the same characters, just aged up physically but not mentally, I guess. Like it just, they didn't feel very old. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked revisiting them because I really enjoyed the first book. I liked seeing where they are. I liked seeing just like, you know, them moving on in life and doing things that are within their goals, like, I mean, accomplishing their goals. And like that, even though in this one they did originally break up, they got back together and they still found a way to work through all their problems. Like that's stuff that I enjoy. I liked it a lot, but I also really cannot give it any more than 3 stars because it didn't really do too much else aside from that, I have to say. Like what it did was perfectly enjoyable, but there was not the depth there that I typically go into a romance book really looking for. Like I need something much more emotionally impactful for me to rate it higher, and this one just didn't do that, unfortunately. So again, like good, just not great. So I don't really understand. I guess this one, like, maybe people were kind of feeling the same with me of like going in. Actually, no, I wasn't expecting anything, but maybe people were going in expecting this to be like insanely good, like even better than the first one, just like the best thing ever. And then it, I guess, didn't necessarily deliver that. It just kind of was good, but not amazing type of thing. So maybe that's where a lot of the negative reviews I was seeing came from. Or yeah, just kind of like, I think some people too were a bit upset about the fact that this couple who we saw fall in love in the first book are now broken up, and like the fact that we have to go and experience them like re-falling in love. Maybe that, I don't know. Like, it was enjoyable. It was fine. I don't really have that many complaints about it other than the fact that like it's not for me. YA is not for me. So that one's done, and we're down to just one more book, which I'm very excited about. But I did want to actually share first. So I got these in today from Arcane Society, and oh, they are beautiful. So this is Blood Orange and Black Rose by Karina Halley, which is one of my favorite like vampire romance duets. But it's basically like Dracula and his love as they experience life together. And like, I cannot get over how stunning this artwork is. These books like very much have that like gothic, like gothic romance type of vibe. And I'm really, really happy like that, you know, the books actually, the illustrations reflect that. Like, look at how beautiful that is. That's like, that is everything I want. I want a really, really pretty like vampire romance illustration. So I am insanely happy with these. Another reason, like, Arcane Society right now is one of the only subscription boxes that I am still subscribed to. So Arcane Society and Broken Binding, and it's entirely because of editions like this that do everything for. So just had to share these because they are beautiful. So next up we have Lightlark, which I have not started yet, but I will be very, very soon. And I'm very excited to get into this one and see what all the drama and the hype is about. Okay, I made it less than 100 pages. I think I made it like, honestly, only like 50 pages in. Oh, I hated this. Hated it. It had such a complex but also stupid world building where it just felt overly complex for no reason. There were all these islands that had been cursed, and every one of them competes every 100 years because there's 6 islands and they have to kill the representative of one of the islands for all the others to break their curse, and everyone fights every 100 years. And I was not into it. Yeah, it just felt so stupid. I hated the writing. It really felt juvenile, which fair, it is YA, and I guess I can't really fault it too much for that, but at the same time, like, I just can't do it. And yeah, I hated this. Like, really don't have a crazy amount to talk about it because it was not a lot. But yeah, it just felt too much. So each of the 6 islands had a curse on them, and we're following the main character who ended up being the representative of her island. And the curse that they have on them is that if they fall in love, they have to kill the other person, and they can only survive on mortal people's hearts. And yeah, weird, interesting curse, I guess. And then there's other ones, I don't know what some of the other ones are. Yeah, I'm trying to find an example of one of them, but I can't remember. Just that one was, I guess it's like interesting, but just at the same time, I didn't really want to continue. So there we go. We are done. Clearly, this was the worst one because I did unfortunately DNF it. I think we can say that none of these books, maybe potentially aside from this one, were outwardly terrible. So do they deserve to be on people's worst of list? Like, I think they're all, at least like Lady Macbeth and Nothing Like the Movie, they weren't terrible. They just weren't necessarily interesting. I feel like they would have been more on my like most disappointing books, where it's just like going into it with hopefully like expecting a little bit more, and then you get truly nothing. Is always very disappointing to me. So, you know, both of those, they were fine, just I wouldn't say great. And Lightlark really did not like. So, you know, there's that. So thanks for watching today's video. I was kind of hoping that we might find like a new favorite out of this. I kind of was hoping that we might have like, you know, something happening, that we kind of get something a little more interesting. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So there we go. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, I would love if you'd subscribe. And yeah, I guess we're ending it off here. So this was a fail. This was a fail, unfortunately. No books that I like. Yay.